All right, today we have Dave Pierce, our beloved, and Zach sent me the intro. Dave, this is Zach's intro for Dave. Dave Pierce is so joyful and ready to listen and to share. He sees you and loves you as you are. For an old guy, he's really active. Hiking, playing frisbee, attending talks, giving talks, and most of all, helping everyone around him. He is sweet, gentle, and very focused on real meaning. He's beloved for sharing himself and welcoming our presence, his favorite word. Yay, Dave, come on up, buddy.
Thank you all for showing up today. Nice to have you here. I think I'll just take a little view of the folks that are, all these eyes that are looking up here so warmly and so sweet and so beautiful. That's a nice thing you wrote about me, Zach. I really appreciate that and your poem. Very sweet. I think we're done. I mean, what else could there be? What was the title of this talk?
I'll look
An
it up.
invitation to awakening.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and, an invitation to awakening. I want to let you know that this is just an invitation. Maybe I fooled some of you, thought you might be awakening. Sorry about that. That was your goal. It's just an invitation, and my journey has been kind of a nice, soft, gradual, beautiful journey to now. It's such a beautiful place. But maybe I could help us a little bit. I'm going to reminds me of, and I know I've said this before, but it does remind me of the place where my beautiful wife and I were 3.5 years ago, when she said, "This is my destiny." And as it turns out, it's everybody's destiny, because she was dying. Only a little closer to it, to those last 5 days. But such a incredible privilege I had of sitting there with my beloved as she letting, and it's just, I feel so privileged. So incredibly privileged as someone not only that knew she was going to die, but couldn't wait. I mean, my God, she was, when the doctor said, "Your body's filled with cancer, lady. You can go to Santa Fe, or you can go to Albuquerque, or you can," she said, "I'm going home. This is my destiny. I'm done. Thank you very much. I appreciate it." They drained the fluid off her lungs and we went home. But and for me, I look at that and think I'm living in a community where we're all up in years. There's three of us that go to the same group on Friday afternoon, and we're all 89, and we kid each other about the various levels of dementia that we're experiencing. And I knew, obviously, that I was going to talk. I could remember that, you know, but I couldn't remember, you said something about the divine in your opening, and I'm like, oh, we're all the divine. Okay, that's it. How hard is it to accept that? How hard is it to think, not even to think, but just to have a knowing that you are that you really are, that we are, that everything is. Yesterday we talked about this movie that really, I realize how wonderful it is when people go in the theater. This wasn't in the theater, this was at Noetics, and it was, what was the name of that movie? Brother, Son.
Oh.
Thank you for helping.
It's my favorite movie.
Yeah,
Dave.
Daughter Moon,
Sister Moon.
Sister
Yeah.
Moon. I'm getting closer. This could be my last time to talk.
No.
But anyway,
You're fine.
Daughter Moon. That's so labeled with the brother, son. The man's the sun. The woman is the moon. Oh, excuse me, I got off tangent there a little bit. But within the movie, the way the people made this movie, and I realized something yesterday that's very, 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 it's so beautiful because it clears up, you know, how we all function. We asked to have a discussion in the Noetic groups about the movie, and some people said, I didn't like it. That was this, it was wrong, it was old, it wasn't true, it was offbeat. You know, it really wasn't what it was supposed to be. And, you know, I mean, that's just kind of the way we started. That was just the start. But it was fascinating. Or it meant a lot to me, you know, various interpretations. And, of course, there were various people sitting there watching it. And what do we do when we look at something and make an evaluation of it? We go back into our brain and we figure out where does this apply to me? What's my experience? We put it together, and there's our explanation of that's what it was all about. You know, we come back into our individuality, and we keep our separateness that way. It's a beautiful thing, and we have progressed as a people, incredibly in this world, with technology and so forth, being separate beings. And there's no real big advantage to waking up, don't get me wrong. It can be hell sometimes, and the movie showed the hell that it was. That was the funny thing. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, this is so great. This young man had to wake up. I mean, holy cow, look what he went through. He was in the war. And he came home so sick he couldn't even stand up. They put him in bed and nursed him gradually back to health. And then when he got his health back and he was viable, he could communicate and so forth, and he was starting to connect with nature. He connected with a little bird, I don't know when, on the windowsill, and he held the bird, and he felt so beautifully at peace with that experience. And then his father was talking to him about the business. His father was a very wealthy merchant and had all these gorgeous materials upstairs. And so he got a little more strength back, and he went around and grabbed up the garments and the various materials father was selling to make, I don't know how many, millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, but wealthy for that time, whatever it was, and they weren't dollars. This was in Italy, of course. So the son started thinking, oh my God, this is a distraction. This really doesn't fit me. I don't have any connection here, you know. So he started throwing the stuff out the window. And of course, the father was quiet for a while. Then he really got into a terror, and he grabbed his son, threw him around the room, hit him, and knocked him around the room, threw him down, then let him know that he was no longer a part of this business and never would be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the poor mother was standing there. She couldn't do anything. Of course, in the culture, the women had no say, and her beautiful son was being beat up and thrown out and whatever. So he came down on the plaza, and I guess, did he throw him down there? Anyway, they were out in front of all the people. I don't know how the film went. You know films. You could help me out there.
Keep going.
Anyway, it was just fascinating to me, and I watched and I thought, holy cow, this young man is going through this coming back experience out of the war and back into his body where he thought he might die, and then connecting with nature with a bird. And then his father beats him up. It's a kind of a tough road here. And then I think next, I forget, I wrote down some things. I know he was kicked out, and then he stripped himself of all of his clothing in front of the whole community and just let go of everything. And of course, when you clear out that incredible personal identification that we all live with and think that we are alone by myself, here I am, I need to interact. And it's not a bad thing because we have fun. I have a young lady in my life now that I really am glad I'm me. I can relate to Miss Judy, and she relates to me. And the fascinating thing about that relationship is he's teaching me about other gurus that are taking me down this path of awakening. There's so many ways to go, and maybe it's not a path. Maybe it's who we are right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What a concept. Or is that a concept? Maybe that bird is even divine. So anyway, he strips his clothes off. He's standing there naked in front of the whole community, young man. And then he goes out to the gateway to the village and opens up. And he's so blessed. He feels so beautiful. And I'm going, how's he going to get something to eat? Isn't he cold? He's going through all these logical things that we do as human beings, of course. And then he ends up down at this community. He finds this old church. I think he goes directly down there to the old church and realizes that this is where he's going to begin anew. And he's had this connecting with everything. And he says, what am I going to do? What am I going to be? And the word comes through, well, if Jesus was a beggar, why don't you be a beggar? And so the poor people and people find out he's down there, and they all go and join him. And they feel this is community for them, because they're not wanted in the village, they're not wanted anywhere around. So he brings all these people in, and everybody's wanted, and he gets focused on finding a to rebuild this building and make it something for them, and go about planting and growing stuff and starting a little area down there. And then he got rejected. His friend came down and saw to see him and said, well, you can't go back up to... It's funny, I've been there, and I can't remember the name of the town.
Assisi.
Assisi. Yeah, it's a beautiful little town, as I said, I've been there. Anyway, that's a side story. So, he realizes he's being rejected, and yet he thinks, when he is looking at it, isn't this what we're all about? The church, doesn't it take in everybody? Doesn't it think that animals and all the people and everything is divine or holy or at least worth looking at, the love, maybe. You know, it could be a possibility, right? So he does that, but he's thinking, I want to really find out from headquarters why this isn't just complete with everything. Why am I being rejected in the village? And what
That house group,
Oh,
their Sunday mornings at 10.
So if you come here Sunday morning at 10, you can start over again. Anyway, so he gets a viewing. Now, this is the movie. Don't try to make sense of it. But he gets a time with the Pope. So he and his young men that are gathered around him and realize they need to support him in this and are having an identification with that, with their camaraderie and so forth. They really, you know, here we go. We're going off to Rome. And they do, and the big ceremony, oh God, they got all kinds of stuff out there. Many people all dressed in finery and all this type of stuff waiting for this troop to come in. And so these guys come in and they're, of course, barefoot, filthy, dirty, El Stinko, and all of the things you wouldn't want there. And then the Pope comes down and he says, tell me why you're here. And so he asked his question. And the Pope, I think, is looking there, and as some people said in the meeting yesterday, he's used to expecting a higher level of company than these people that are just really in bad shape, you know, no dirty, filthy, nothing. But there's something going on there. And as one of the people in the audience said, well, that wasn't part of the movie where the Pope had a dream that he's going to meet this guy. So the Pope listens to him very politely, and then he comes down and takes a closer look at the group of men, and he looks at them, and he realizes, he has this realization that they really are practicing what we talked about. You know, love everybody, love your neighbor, those kind of things. Like, you know, do it. Just don't talk about it and go do something else. So kindness is something that's considered, and taking care of the fellow man and so forth. So anyway, he goes down and he tells the young man that he can't help him because he has to officiate as a pope. That's not his role. And it's important for him to stay in that role. It's very important. It's worldwide, the Catholic Church. So what does he do? He gets down on his hands and knees and kisses Francisco's feet, saying that this is your domain, and bless you, brother, for doing it. Bless you for being there. So that to me is honoring Francisco's awakening. And I honor all of your awakenings. It's a fascinating path to be on. And I feel so fortunate, and if you don't mind, Judy, but you and I are exploring this path together. And it's really a path of connectivity and a path of opening up to something more in life. Something, that I think if we can do before, in the greater expansion we can do it, the better off we are when we die. That's why my wife was able to die so freely and so beautifully and so intentionally. So I do have a bunch of notes here about some other things. That's not needed anymore. No, you don't have to run for it.
I'm just thinking about the leaves falling.
Yeah. I have a couple of things in my development that I love to do. And they're really high-level stuff. Every night about, now it's somewhere around 4 o'clock or a little after I walk my dog Max in Sunset Park. That's a beautiful experience. And he loves it. We love it. When we talk to the folks that we meet, so forth. But then I come back and I sit on Alice's bench. So what's that all about? We sit there and she says every night, that is my favorite tree. There's a huge tree up over the 60 units that I live in Taos Enchanted Village. And this tree has got one branch going way up in the center, and then one going off to the right, one going off to the left. And she said, every night, this is my favorite tree. And the sun is back going behind the trees, and it's going down, it's going down. And we don't say too much else. We just sit there. And of course, kind of boring, huh?
As time goes by.
That is such a beautiful life for me. I feel so fortunate to have that experience in my life. So, this whole trip of being in that village and working with the people there to get a better life. I don't know if any of you saw this article in the paper, but it took me seriously. But the headline, it says, "Discover the art of living well together." It didn't say right before you die, but it could have. What's that?
Better late than never.
Well, that's the whole thing. That was Suzanne's point. She had told me for years she wanted to die. And she was late. Yeah, she wanted to die before 78. She was a little disappointed about that. Yeah. I want to just touch. Oh, I guess I put it in my bag. That little book on Ram Dass. I mean, not Ram Dass, excuse me. You gave me the book on Ram Dass. It's the book by Muji. You just showed me this book the other day. It's called White Fire. Only when the ego is slain by the white fire of pure seeing will the light be set free, the light that illumines the whole world. That's something to be a part of. Yeah, I was going to read some of those stuff there. Are there any questions?
Just one. Maybe it would help to mention who the movie was about.
What's that?
Who the movie was about.
Oh, you want to know who the movie was about?
Well, no, I didn't hear you mention the name of.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I did that intentionally. You might
Okay,
notice
okay.
that. And the movie did a lot of things intentionally, see? But that's, in my mind, that's not important. But, and I understand that it is very important, because the movie was about St. Francis of Assisi. And that kind of ties it together, doesn't it?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. That's nice.
What was the name of the movie?
Brother, son,
Sister.
moon. Have you seen it? It's a good view, even though it's an old movie. It's an old production, so it's not, it could be put together in a nicer, a better way, I guess. I don't know. You'd have
It's
to
just an
tell me.
old style.
It's an old style, and I'm an old style, so it's the way life goes. I appreciate being asked to be involved up here as an old style.
We love you, Dave.
I know, it's so clear. It's so beautiful. Yeah. It's really true. It's always been true. I've been here for many years and never have not been loved. Some people have tried, but it's hard. Yeah, you know, I was looking for that part of the isness. Anyway, Muji has a nice way of talking about what is and the isness that we are to keep you, where Zach says, is the only place we can ever be. So why do we try to get away? And that is the presence. We can never really be anything other than presence and the depth of our being. And yet we struggle so hard in our culture to get here, get there, please this, you know, or do something that's important or whatever we do. And that's the nature of living as a human being, you know. And the animals do this, and, you know, the birds do that. But that's what they do, and this is what we do. So the only advantage of being awakened is the fact that you're at peace with this whole process, right? And you're happy about it, right?
I get it.
And you love everybody and love everything that's going on in the world. And what's happened for me is, since I've been here in Taos, God, I am surrounded. I went to a show last night with 5 of my favorite people, and they're lovers. Every one of them. Unbelievable the way we are able to love each other. We don't have to say it, but it's so felt and it's so true and it's so much fun. So if I quit now, I would quit early. Huh? Anybody got any more questions?
Well, Dave, just a quick question.
Yeah.
What do you feel or believe comes after awakening?
You could lose it. That's what might come after it. And you could build it into an ego platform, that this is who I am. I'm awakened. This is who I am. Yeah, you better pay attention to me, or I know what I'm talking about. I know is the worst way to express your awakening, because you're the knowing. You don't have to go around saying, I know, I know, I know. That's back into the individual, I'm better than you, competition type world, and separation. So the way to be, you know, and when you just be, then you feel connected. You can't believe how, you all feel this. It's not that you don't have it. You're all, it was born into every person, every animal, everything. That's what we are, presence. Presence is all you can ever be. Got me excited.
Well, I kind of frame awakening a little differently than you do, and that's fine.
Sure. Everybody does.
I see awakening as an increase in consciousness.
Yeah.
And,
Sure.
And there are dimensions of consciousness.
Sure.
From the very dense dimensions the cavemen lived in to a third dimension where a lot of us live and operate from, and that's a place of separation and striving and all of that. To the fourth dimension of consciousness, we become transformed.
Oh, okay.
And then the fifth, of course, is where I believe the universe operates. And that's one of oneness with everything, with everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. It's beautiful. Very nice. Yeah. Anyone else?
You mentioned the word,
Yes.
so what comes up for me with kindness is something that the Dalai Lama said. Whenever possible, be kind, and it's always possible.
Yeah, isn't it though? I tell you, yeah. I'm gonna read something that Rupert Spira wrote today, just for you guys. It is not necessary to let go of a separate self, but rather to see that there is no separate self.
Makes it easy, doesn't it?
Anybody? Lunch early?
I think I'll just toss out a quote by Francis Assisi, from paraphrased a bit, but one of the things he said was to preach the gospel at all times, and if absolutely necessary, use words.
Yeah, I knew that was true because see this pad of paper, it was full when I started preparing for this talk.
Wow.
And now it's empty because it had words on it. Yeah, it's so difficult. It's amazing when you try to convey to people with words. You did a good job. I like that. Thank you, Thomas. That's very sweet of you. Yeah.
Well, they weren't my words originally, of course, but that's the way we learn and grow, is
Sure.
from an amalgamation of
Yeah.
sources and so forth.
I'm just not very good at it.
Pardon me?
I'm just not very good at it since my memory is not what it used to be.
Oh,
I never
everybody-
was good at it.
Everybody's,
I flunked every grade in school.
David, everybody's good at it in their own way.
Why, sure. Why, sure.
Everyone has a style and a persona, and
Right, just don't use
you
words.
you can't fault anyone,
No,
what they say or how they act.
Right,
You know,
it's so true. isn't it?
it's ours to accept that.
Zach has a question.
I have a comment
Comment.
that we all took your invitation today.
No, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I personally, feel that this world is coming together, and I brought all these books because I tried to read each one, and I got, a few pages through each one of them, but I never got all the way through any of them. This is my favorite, and it said in the write-up, I think, that I would give you some help if you wanted to pursue more awakened freedom, to achieve freedom. This is what the book says. It's Muji's book, and it says it's an invitation to freedom, immediate awakening for everyone. And this is for me, this is the best path I have seen. He really resonates, with me. But we're all in various places on in the same program. I mean,
Dave, may I suggest another book?
you may.
Another book that I've become fascinated with, if one is really interested in this
Yeah,
awakening.
right, or
And the
books.
title is The Great Awakening, and it's by an author named Mike Dooley.
Oh, yeah.
No relation to myself.
Yeah, probably some people are familiar with it. How many people are familiar with that book?
Have you
Anybody?
read that?
No, but I followed him quite a while.
Yeah.
Great.
Everybody ends up writing their own book.
I suppose. I don't know. But it's been such a pleasure to be able to talk to you today, and thank you for coming. I'm excited about this, being here with you all.
Yay!
Yeah.